Collette, thanks so much for joining me for a few minutes here. We're at Process Expo in Chicago. AMSA has a booth, as always, a great supporter of all the industry shows and everything that they can be a part of. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your role with the organization. It's not super new, but it's a few months in. Congratulations on that, first of all. And secondly, it's been a few months, as we just said. Give me your assessment of where AMSA is right now, and what you think the organization, the association, has going for it, where it stands right now, and what attracted you to joining and joining AMSA.
Okay, well that's a lot of questions, so I'll do my best. But it's just been a few short months, but I came on board at a time of a pretty exciting time. So I joined basically the week of RMC. So that was kind of like diving right into it, and of course the staff are pretty fired up to have us back to normal staffing. So not only did I join, but we hired our marketing and membership manager, Morgan Pfeiffer, and she joined us in September. So the staff has gone from trying to run a show with 2 people to being back to fully staffed, so everybody's pretty fired up about that. We've got a lot of energy going into the ICOMS for next year. That's the big International Congress of Meat Science and Technology. And that meeting is only held in the U.S. about every 15 years. So it's something that takes a lot of dedication and planning. It's probably been being planned for 20 years. And of course, we are always relying on a ton of great volunteers to help us out with any of the programs. And so we finished RMC, we went straight into planning for the ICOMS. We just finished our board meeting last week and the student board meeting, which was a whole another separate fantastic event. So I think everything is really high energy right now and pretty focused on this big meeting coming up, looking at what we can do to help our members, to help industry. That's why we're here at Process Expo, trying to get to know some of the manufacturers that we routinely work with and make sure that they understand AMSA and what we can do for some of their employees and customers as well.
When you look at where AMSA is now, obviously everything you're doing right now is to prep for ICOMS, but thinking from like a larger picture perspective, what are the 1 or 2 biggest strengths that AMSA has going for it right now as an association in terms of its strategic mission moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. Speaking of strategic, we're going into a strategic planning session at the beginning of April. So the organization hasn't done one of those for about 5 years, so the timing for that is going to be really perfect. But we already know that 2 of our strengths are our members and the students being a huge part of that membership, and tons of other organizations look at us and are kind of, including this one, and are like, how can we get our students involved in this level and try to develop them into becoming really relevant industry professionals? Because you hear this all the time out in the industry, we're super short of people, and we're just going to continue to be short of great leaders, great managers. So one of the things I want to do is take us from but developing students as technical professionals and develop them into the next leaders for industry. Because there's a lot of us who were fortunate enough to be in leadership roles in industry, and we really love that, taking our technical and then turning that into management and leadership. So a lot of us really want to help students see that as a viable path too. Of course, the second thing that AMSA is always well known for is providing the very best in scientific knowledge. And the interesting thing about meat scientists is they cover such a breadth of disciplines. So we sat down and we made a list of all the different scientific research, regulatory, governmental, trade association, industry roles that our members have. And it's everything from evaluating the genetics of cell-based development in the animals that we raise, to the other side of evaluating bacteria and pathogens at a cell level. So everything really from the very beginning steps all the way through food safety. We have people working in product development and every different research area that you can think of.
So the science is obviously, it's in the name, of course,
right?
But it is strong science, and that's one of the backbones of the association. It's going to carry it forward.
Yeah, that's right, and we want it to be more visible. So in the past, we've sort of been a little bit passive maybe, and now we want to be more proactive and making sure that we're taking a leadership position in science, so not a political position, but a leadership position in science, and then helping other associations have the very best science as different issues come up, everything from sustainability to the role of meat in the diet. We think we've got some really good things going from a technical standpoint, and then we want to provide that information in a number of different ways. So a scientific journal, the more layperson publications like Animal Frontiers, webinars that we're going to be kind of revamping, and potentially looking at things like podcasts and online training, as well as, of course, our on-site meetings that we always have.
So without giving away the kitchen sink or anything like that, but and you kind of hinted at some of the things in the works. Again, a few months on the job, a few months assessing. Where do you see AMSA going moving forward? Is it membership growth? Is it growth in the sharing of science? Is it a consumer growth thing? Where look in your crystal ball and tell me where you see the association going.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's obvious you know the association well, and I think we'll investigate all of those areas. We had a little bit of a conversation in the board meeting about the role that National Livestock and Meat Board used to play with reaching down into classrooms with students, with FFA meat judges, with dietitians, nutritionists, and there are of course groups doing that. So NAMI, National Pork Board, NCBA, those groups are all working on that. So we think we can work in partnership with them to help provide science and direct them to our members who are leaders. Already just in this short time, I get a lot of mainstream media requests for information about things that are being talked about in the media. Cultured meat is certainly one of those that people have asked questions about as well. So I see us as really developing that and then providing a lot of different ways that we're disseminating the information to people.